Okay, so I'm getting a lot of work done today up here on the roof. Nothing is completely finished, but I've got a lot of stuff mostly finished. So I finally have this freestanding bench basically welded together. I took the bottom halves, or the bottom sections of some leftover squat stands that I had. So it's got the heavy 1/4-inch steel 1 foot square plate at the bottom to stabilize it. And it's got the real thick 1/4-inch steel upright here. Then this is thick 1/4-inch steel, 2-inch or 2.5-inch by 5-inch square tubing here. And that's the main body of the bench. I just need to put this back on it. But before I do that, I'm actually going to put some reinforcements across the back, so that no matter how much weight is on either side of this, it won't start to flex around the spine of this bench down here. So almost done, not quite done. I needed to make a hammock stand. I was looking into buying one because I figured, you know what, they're cheap enough that I might as well just buy one and save myself the trouble. But everyone's being a real pain in the ass about whether they have it in stock or when it will be back in stock, when I'm allowed to pick it up. We have to agree to buy it first and pay first, and then they'll tell us what the address is so we can go get it. Just lots of games and bullshit. But I had a lot of scrap steel that I'm not using for anything. So although it looks ugly because it's made of scrap leftover steel, I do now have this. You can see one side here, up to one side here. It's got the spine here and the legs here so it doesn't tip over. But here to here, it's about 3 meters long, and the hammock itself is 2 meters long. So that gives me about a 1/2 meter on either side to adjust how tight I want it and how I want it to kind of hang and sit. So that should be perfect. That's actually ready to go. I'm not even going to worry about painting it or anything. It can stay ugly, it just has to function. So those two things are done. Then down here, let me walk you down to the gym. If I walk down to the gym, the combination squat bench thing that I'm building, so far this is how it's looking. So I do have the uprights, the adjustable uprights for the squat section implemented into the what used to be the bench uprights, but I still have this hook here from the bench, so I can actually use both at the same time and have them adjusted independently. I can change the height of this and the height of this independently. I also have 3 total pins. So I have this pin that's a very long heat treated steel pin that goes through everything, so it secures this and this to the main upright. But I also have these 2 redundancy pins just to make sure that nothing else fails, and it also prevents it from wiggling or shaking too much. That's the same thing going on both sides here. I still have the adjustable safety catch that'll work for the squat or the bench, obviously. This is the old back right here so that the bench wouldn't tilt back, but then I put this cross section on it so it wouldn't wobble this way. And then I put this 45 degree on it so that it wouldn't tip out this way or tip forward. The problem, the worry I was having was that if I ever did drop the bar hard and it came out here in front of this main upright, then the whole thing would tilt forward. So now this leg will prevent it from throwing all the way out. It won't fall in towards me this way, and it'll have more stability from wobbling this way because I'm now building a piece that I can bolt in between these two. I've got the bolt holes there and the bolt holes there. This way I can still take this piece out and have them independent for storage or for moving them easily enough. But when I'm actually using it, I'll have this center section bolted in so it all works together as one solid unit. The other thing I'm thinking is that if I ever wanted to, I could modify this center section that I want to bolt in here into having an upright weight stack. So I could actually take one of these leftover weight stacks and put it there, and I could use it for, I don't know, I could put a low pulley and a high pulley, so I could do everything from low rows and curls to tricep press downs and lat pulls and whatnot, all in the same piece. That'd actually be a really good use of space. I also just threw this together real fast. I've been needing a lat bar, but I don't want to go out and buy one because they're more expensive than they should be to buy it. It's just a bar. So again, I just used leftover scrap steel. I had this tubing right here, but it's just thin enough that I didn't want it to ever start to warp or bend or anything else. So what I did was I took the solid rod that I was using for my pins and I welded it across the tubing. This acts as a good lip for my fingers to hang over so I can get a better grip on it, but it also reinforces this tube itself. And then I took some leftover of this exact same rod and I just bent it into a U shape and welded it to use that as the eyelet to hook it on. And I actually put the entire weight stack of weight on there, went at it, and it's solid as a rock. So again, ugly but functional, and that's what I care about. But then the problems I started running into, I'll walk you up here. I'm not even gonna edit this video. I'm not gonna edit this at all. I might put it into fucking like iMovie and bump the audio, but that's it. So no cuts, you get to see everything. Oh, then I hopped on my drill press so I could make the pieces that will be used for the center section of the squat stand. I need to line up the holes, drill new holes in this scrap steel that I have, but I ran into a problem. Ever since I rewired my drill press, because somebody had wired it wrong and it was running off of like 1/2 or 1/3 the power that it should be running off of. Like this big old motor was just barely turning this thing. It was functional, but it got stuck all the time. Ever since I rewired it, I've had limited chance to actually use it. Today was the first day I was actually going to use it heavy duty, and I started cutting, and it's very obviously more torquey and more powerful now because the moment the bit got hung up, rather than getting stuck like it used to where the bit would get stuck and then the whole thing would freeze and have to shut it off, it just snapped. It just completely snapped my drill bit right off. And what's crazy is that this is not a little drill bit. This is a big 13 millimeter big boy motherfucker. And it's, oh, I forget what it is now, but it's some sort of carbide diamond blah blah blah. It's a really fucking expensive, fancy, nice drill bit that's supposed to last a long time. And the moment it got hung up in the steel, it didn't hesitate, it didn't shake, it didn't wobble. Just the moment it got hung up, instantaneously just snapped it right off before I even realized what was happening. So the good news is that my drill press is much more powerful since I rewired it. The bad news is it's so powerful that I am snapping my biggest, heaviest drill bits, very expensive drill bits, before I even realize there's a problem. So I'll have to be more careful with that, and obviously I have to buy more drill bits now. Oh yeah, then by sheer coincidence, after that I thought, okay, no problem, I'll put this piece of metal in the vise and I'll use my my die grinder, and I'll just grind out the old holes to line them up to where they need to be. And then the moment I touched my die grinder to the plate, the head broke off of that bit. Again, a very expensive piece that was supposed to last a very long time, and it snapped off immediately. So I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I've been breaking shit all day today. But that's the state of things right now. The hammock stand is almost done. The squat stand is almost done. The bench is almost done. After I finish this, I need to buy some more steel. I'm going to start building the frame for the new weight stacks, and I'm going to build an incline bench, like a 45-degree incline, not adjustable, just permanent incline, old school, heavy duty. And that's all I can think of right now for the foreseeable future, but getting very close to things being functional and usable, even if they're not pretty. But that's it for now.